Hi everyone, welcome to your online yoga practice. My name's Leanne, and today we're going to work into our hips, our beloved hips. I'm going to offer you a 3-part series which will build in, degree of difficulty and depth of poses. So for part 1, it's open to beginners, to more experienced students. Really, I'm hoping all of you can take part in this. And if you are interested in kind of learning about the build-up of poses, you might want to look at all 3 of the series. They say, free your hips and your heart will follow. And I kind of agree. We use our legs and our hips to charge us through our day. So let's see if we can start to work into some of that. You'll need a couple of blocks and maybe a strap depending on your hammies and your time. See if you can just let go of whatever's been going on in your day so far and give yourself a bit of time to practice and kind of register in with what's going on. Okay, I'd love you to start in a loose Baddha Konasana. So the soles of your feet touching, your knees out wide, and you'll stay holding on to your shins, okay? So don't worry if this feels a little much for your low back. Holding loosely onto your shins, as you breathe in, lift through your chest, lift your gaze. As you breathe out, roll back. Inhale, roll it forward, lift through your chest. Exhale, roll back. Can we do this 4 more times? Just getting familiar with how you're feeling, with where your breath is at. Becoming comfortable with movement, with instruction. Couple more. In. Exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come to neutral. I'm going to grab a block just to sit a little easier. Cross-legged on the block. You may have a couple of pillows or a bolster. Let your hands rest upon your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. Even breaths in and out through your nose. Samavriti. We'll inhale for 4, we'll exhale for 4. You might feel it's better to shorten or increase that length of breath. So you work with an awareness of what you might need, okay? Exhale completely. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. Feel expansion as you breathe in of the ribs, of your abdomen maybe. Exhale. Can you feel the contraction? The navel in, the ribs in, breathing out. Few more. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause for a moment. Join your palms, bring your palms to your heart. A moment to honor where you're at. Set an intention, if you have one to set, for your class, for your life, for your week. And as you're ready to come on up, move the block out of the way. Please move on to all 4s. Good old cat-cow. Inhale, we arch. Exhale, round. Knees are hip distance apart. Your hands are shoulder distance apart beneath your shoulders, and we're arching as we breathe in, and we're rounding as we breathe out. Inhale, we arch. Exhale, and we round, right? Oftentimes, we don't get to feel the range and the mobility of our back because we're sitting and we're driving and we're walking. So suss out where you're at. It's nice to suss out where we're at without judging ourselves, right? Without getting too serious and thinking we should be a certain way, but just moving and breathing and feeling what's going on. We're going to take it a little into the hips now, so please widen your hips as wide as your mat, your toes will touch. Walk your hands a little forward of your shoulders, and as you breathe in, drop your hips, lift your chest. As you breathe out, sit all the way back into child's pose. Forehead comes to the floor or a block if you feel that's better for your neck. Inhale, travel forward with your whole body. Drop your hips, lift your chest. Breathe out, travel back, but keeping your hands anchored, you move into child's. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale, breathing, feeling your inner hips. Breathe in, hips open, heart follows. Send your heart forward. Exhale, travel back. Twice more, please. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold your child's pose for a moment. Sit back into your heels. Feel the dropping of your hips, maybe the stretching of your inner thighs. And as you anchor through your hands, can you feel the length along the left side torso, right side torso? Come up, tuck your toes, lift into your first downward facing dog pose. In your down dog, your feet are hip distance apart. You may want to walk it out a little. Your hands are shoulder distance apart. If you're too close together, if your feet are too close to your hands, you're going to look a little rounded like this. And if you're too wide or too long rather, you're going to feel like all of the weight is in your hands and it's going to be a real struggle. So you want to almost be like an equilateral triangle, right? Hands to hips, hips down to the heels, and that same distance in between your hands and your feet. I like to bend my knees, right? So I can really swivel hips up high and lengthen most through my spine. I'm going to tell you or cue you to move through a vinyasa in between the sequences, right? The vinyasa is moving from down dog to plank, plank moving through either, let me show you as I do it. So the vinyasa will be moving through to plank. Here you have the option of lowering knees first and lowering all the way to the floor and then working into cobra pose, a back bend, and tucking your toes, pressing back to downward facing dog. So that's one way of moving through vinyasa. Another way is moving into plank as you breathe in, lowering chaturanga, the half push-up, as you breathe out, moving in to up dog as you breathe in, pressing back to down dog as you breathe out. Now you can alternate that, you can try it, but that's kind of the linking flow in between our sequences. Bend your knees, walk on forward to the front of your mat. Stay in your forward fold for a moment. You may want to shake your head out a little. It's a nice bend in the knees to keep your back lengthened. And as you're ready to, let's round all the way up to stand. Once you're in Tadasana, I like to keep my feet hip distance apart here. Once you're here, round out your shoulders, feel your upright stance. And we'll move into Surya Namaskar a couple of times, okay? Breathe in and sweep your arms out and up. As you fold forward, Uttanasana, slight bend through your knees, folding. It's a half lift here as you breathe in. Fingertips to the floor of your shins, look forward. Plant your palms, here's our vinyasa, we step back to our plank. Prepare as you breathe in. You can exhale and lower all the way or lower chaturanga. From here, it's a back bend, it's cobra pose or it's up dog. Tuck your toes, press back, down dog. 4 breaths here. If your knees are bent, especially, what you might notice is your knees start to pigeon knee and knock inwards. Work your inner legs, press them away from one another. Couple more breaths. Bend your knees, look forward. You can walk it, you can step it, you can jump it to the front of your mat. Half lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Rise on up, inhale. Exhale, Tadasana. Can we do that again, please? Breathe in and reach your arms up. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. Plant your palms, step back to your plank. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower all the way or lower chaturanga. Broaden your collarbones, lift through your heart, inhale. Tuck your toes and press back. Downward facing dog pose. Feel that your body weight, as much as you can, evenly distributes between your legs and your arms. So you're not top heavy and you're not way back, kind of feeling it all in your hips and your legs. Ground through your inner knuckles. Let your head relax. Bend your knees and look forward. Come on forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Stand tall. Exhale. Bend your knees, sweep your arms up, Utkatasana chair pose. So with your chair as well, can you press inner thighs away so that the knees don't knock in? Yeah, scoop your navel, sit your bottom low, reach your arms up high, in. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in and lengthen your spine. Plant your palms and step your left leg back for Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. In Warrior 1, your back foot is turned in at 45 degrees. Reach your arms up high. It's not the easiest pose, right? Because your back foot is turned in, your front foot is facing forward. Can you get a little bit of width in between your feet so that your hips, your legs can line up with your hips, yeah? We're going to go 3 times here. As you inhale, straighten your front leg, lower your arms. As you exhale, can we drop into our hips? You'll feel inner back hip, inner back leg perhaps. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 1. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Warrior 1, we'll hold it here. You're going to notice that left hip likes to misbehave and float you back, right? Can you kind of tilt that left hip forward and draw the right hip back? Keep your heart lifted. Your arms are strong. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, open out, Warrior 2 pose. So now I heel toe, my right foot forward a few times. I drop into my pose so that if I were to draw a line, my heel dissects the middle of the back arch. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. 3 more times like that. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Land in your Warrior 2. So now we have a pretty deep hip. We have a pretty deep hip opener for that right leg, yeah? Watch that that knee doesn't roll inwards. If you anchor that inner foot and externally rotate through that right hip, you'll find the pose. Anchor through the outer back foot, lift through the back inner thigh. And once you find strong strength through your legs, your spine has a bit more ease. Tip back here, we reverse. Cartwheel your hands to the floor, please. Step back to down dog. Let's link it all with our vinyasa. Plank pose, inhale. Chaturanga or lower all the way, exhale. Cobra or up dog, inhale. Lower your forehead, tuck your toes, down dog. 4 breaths here. You'll notice here maybe a lot of the weight sits on the outer wrists and the outer hands. Can you counter that by grounding your thumb and index finger knuckle, spinning your triceps inwards? 1 more breath here. Bend your knees and look forward. Come forward to the front of your mat. Keep your feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees. Come on back up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Building some heat in our bodies, right? Sit low. Feel the backs of your legs working. Keep your chest proud. Inhale here. Fold forward. Exhale. Long spine. Breathe in. Plant your palms. Step your right leg back. Warrior 1. So first our torso face forward. Yeah, keep hinging right hip a little forward. Inhale, straighten your front leg, lower your arms. Exhale, warrior 1. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep swiveling left hip back, right hip forward. Keep your torso proud and open. Inhale here. As you exhale, open out. Virabhadrasana 2. So I nudge that left leg a little forward. I land. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Twice more. In. Exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. You want to try to get this front knee, left knee, stacked above the left heel, yeah? So to open the hip, we get almost like a right angle with that front leg. Gaze over front fingertips. Ground through the back leg, outer foot especially. Breathe here. Long through the tailbone, ribs in a little bit. Tip back here, we reverse. Cartwheel your hands to the floor. Step back to down dog. Move through your vinyasa. You know, and you can also meet us in down dog if you'd like to skip the vinyasa. Four breaths here, please. Bend your knees and look forward. Make your way forward to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward, breathe it out. Inhale, rise to the top, breathe in. Pause and feel, breathe out. Especially if you're newer to the practice and you're working with a flow, there's a lot of instructions and we move, right? So we're not always holding. It's okay if you feel a little overwhelmed. Take time to pause in between, to feel your body, to tap into presence and being really aware. Bend your knees, please. Utkatasana, it's a chair pose. It's like we're a chair and it's like we're sitting back in a chair and we're working through the back body. Breathe in. Let's go a little faster, a little smoother. Exhale, fold. Long spine, inhale. I'm going to flip this way so I can show you where we're going. Exhale, fold and step your left leg back, warrior one pose. Let's go one time here. Inhale, straighten, lower your arms. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Breathe in, prepare with a breath. Breathe out, warrior 2. Let's take a breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Tip back, reverse. Triangle pose, Trikonasana, straighten through your front leg. You may want to shorten your stance. Hinge, I'm going to grab a block. Hinge your torso to the front of your mat, your hips to the back, and at the same time turn both of your arms. So you see how a block helps me here to, if you're a little restricted, you may find you think you have to touch the floor and you end up in this kind of forward triangle. Whereas really, it doesn't matter where that base arm goes. What we really want is length through the side body, preferably here too with the block, right? It helps. Even if I'm here, I can find length on that underside. Openness through the chest, lengthen out through the crown. It's almost like I'm spinning right rib beneath left, heart to the ceiling. Your gaze can be skyward, forward, or downward. And then come on up. Go back wider to your warrior 2, please. Tip back and reverse. Extended side angle, Parsva-Konasana. Your right forearm on your right thigh. Start here. See, you've still got this openness through the hips, even more so now, right? And the top arm can come up and over your ear. Now you may want the block to work towards bringing your hand to the floor. If you don't need the block, get rid of it. And you feel this extreme stretch along the whole left line of your body. Reach beyond your fingertips. And a deep opener inside of that right hip, right? Couple more breaths. And then lower both of your hands to the floor. Heel toe, your right leg out wide, and drop your back knee and bring both of your hands inside of your right wide low lunge. Inhale. I'm on my fingertips. We arch. Exhale. We round. So it's like a cat-cow again. Inhale. Arch. Exhale. Round. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come up and start to hinge back. You may want to have your block here for a wide half Hanumanasana, wide split pose. Again, I'm not interested in you going to full splits. Work towards lengthening the back of your leg. It might be slightly bent, but what I'd love is your spine to stay long, right? So you might be propped up here. Flex that front foot, broaden your collarbones. 3 breaths here. And then travel forward. Lift your back knee. I'm going to ask you to take a big step to the front of your mat. A block might be good for Malasana, your squat, okay? Where you sit upon the block and you wedge your arms inside of your inner legs, opening through your hips and grow tall. Feel length from the crown of your head. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And to open the hips, can you keep your inner feet grounded? And then feel the pose. All right. Block aside, hands to the floor, please. Down dog. Move through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog for 4 breaths. Bend your knees, look forward. Make your way forward to the front of your mat. Keep your feet hip distance apart. Sweep it on up, Utkatasana. 3 breaths here. And we fold forward. Breathe in and lengthen, long spine. Plant your palms, step your right leg back for warrior one pose. Reach your arms up high. One time here, inhale, straighten your front leg, lower your arms. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Breathe in, we prepare. As you exhale, open out warrior 2 pose. Yeah, inhale, straighten your front leg. As you exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. You're going to hinge your hips back. Actually, I have an injury on this left leg, so I'm going to do it again to show you on your right leg. Hinging your torso forward, hips back, turning both arms at the same time. Just to make it a little more accessible that we all work with the limitations of our body, this is where my triangle is currently on this side because of a strained hamstring. Slight bend in my knee. Just working on not kind of exacerbating our injuries, but staying with the practice. Couple more breaths. Feeling the spiraling of the torso, the openness of the heart that remains. Come on up. Go back to your warrior 2. You may want to lengthen that out. Tip back here, reverse. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Reach your right arm up. Maybe over, maybe hand to a block for Parsvakonasana. Feeling the left hip scoop beneath right, left rib beneath right, the prana, the energy extending beyond your top fingertips. Couple more breaths. And then lowering your hands to the floor, go wide, low lunge, dropping your back knee, coming to your fingertips. Breathe in, we arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, we arch. Exhale, round. One more time, please. Breathe in and breathe out. Start to hinge back for a wide half split pose. You may want your block, right, to keep your torso nice and long. Because I'm working with an injury, I'm going to keep a slight bend in my left leg, my front leg, but I'm going to work on maintaining length in my spine. Finding your breath here. Working through scar tissue, resistance. You know, we want to find that freedom not just on a physical level, but maybe even the freedom that we find seeps into our emotional life, the way in which our mind works and operates. The way in which we perceive the world. Start to walk it forward. You can use a block or not for your squat, Malasana. Come on forward. And I know that sometimes the Achilles and the calves can be tight. If that's the case, you can raise your heels on a blanket. Keep growing through your torso, lifting from your pelvic floor, opening through your inner hips. Okay, bring your hands to the floor. Step back, please. Downward facing dog pose. Vinyasa, travel forward to your plank, lowering, your choice. Backward bending, your choice. Child's posing, your choice. So if it feels better, grab support beneath your forehead and rest here. perhaps a little freer in your inner hips compared to when we began the class. Allowing the shift from oftentimes, before you're on your mat, you're really stimulated by the external world, but noticing the shift as you move a little more internally now. And then come on up. I want you to come into an easy down dog just so we can transition forward for a couple of backward bends on our belly. So come on forward to plank, lower onto your belly, and stretch your arms out to the sides of the room for locust pose. Your feet are hip distance apart. Exhale completely. As you breathe in, lift just your upper body up off the floor, your arms, your torso. Rather than throwing your head back, keep your neck neutral. Breathe here. Feels like we don't lift very high, right? Because we don't. Gravity is working against us, and we're using purely back muscles here. Gently lower. Drop your chin, and then look to your right. I'm not going to because the mic will probably send us all a bit crazy, but see if here you can just let your whole body drop into the floor. Just for a moment, because next we're going to bring the legs into it. Turn your head in, please. Bring your arms back out. Exhale completely. Inhale, lift your arms, Shalabhasana, your legs, and feel, even though gravity wants us to stay down, we're lifting away from the floor, we're finding the lightness of being. Breathe into your chest, your legs, your arms, and lower. This time, look over your left shoulder. And one more back bend. Turn your head in, please. Interlace your hands behind you. Roll your shoulders down your back. Exhale completely. As you breathe in, lift your legs, stretch your arms back. Crown floats forward and up. Keep broadening through your collarbones. And release here. Look over your left or your right. Take a moment to allow any restriction, storage that you may have stretched through in your chest, heart area, to allow it to drop through the floor. And then slowly slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Press into a brief child's pose to neutralize your back. And then come on up to sit facing me. Let's do a couple of forward folds and seated poses for our hips. We're going to rock the baby first. So keeping your left leg bent, lift your right leg up. And okay, you have the option. You might want to just hold on to the foot to keep it flexed and hold at the calf and rock. And we're not rocking a baby, we're really gently rocking the baby. Because if you think the thigh bone and the hip socket, we're just kind of jiggling that through, okay? So, or you may want to step into your elbow crease and gently jig, and you might feel that that kind of accesses that glute hip area a bit more. What often happens is we roll back into this. So I want you to see if you can roll forward onto your sitting bones. Chest lifted. Jiggling it out. This feels really tight for me because one of the instructions I've had to help with my hammy is to strengthen my glutes and not stretch. So this, I'm feeling it. A few more breaths. Alrighty. ready. Release your leg. Can you cross your right shin in front of your left and flex through your feet? You might want to block here. Inhale and reach your arms up. As you exhale, fold forward to your degree. Again, I'd love you not to be hunched. So this might be enough to keep your spine nice and long. This might be enough, right? Or if you'd like, remove the block. Keep your feet flexed. I can get a little picky on your alignment because you just feel it more and you protect your body. So it's almost like your feet are against blocks, right? The outer edges of the feet press into the floor, and see if you feel it more in your glutes when you do that. A few breaths here. One more breath, please. And then come on up. Let your right leg sit beneath you, grab your left leg and cradle your left baby. So you may want to step into the arm crease, you may want to hold beneath the calf, and rather than taking massive, vigorous jigs, make it pretty subtle, okay? You might feel it at your glutes, you might feel it at your IT band. See if we can lift through our torso, sit up nice and tall. And just jigging it out. Also, similar to the shoulders, our hip joint has this 360-degree range, right? But sometimes it doesn't feel like that because we tend to sit all day, right? And tighten the hip flexors, weaken the glutes. A few more breaths. The higher you lift that heel, the deeper the stretch becomes. And then cross, please, your left shin in front of your right. Rather than pointing your toes and having passive feet, active through your feet. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out and lower. Come to a forward fold that feels like you can keep your spine nice and long. Keep allowing your pelvis to almost tip a little forward, roll a little forward to assist with your spine lengthening forward. Feet stay flexed. Couple more breaths, please. And then come on up. Stretch both of your legs out in front of you, shake it out. Soles of your feet together, Baddha Konasana. Breathe in and lift through your chest. As you breathe out, your options, you can hold on to your heels, work your elbows into your inner legs and fold forward, right? You might feel it feels better to hold on to your toes, but see if you can press the soles of your feet together to roll forward on your sitting bones and come forward to your degree. Breathe into your hips. If it feels like a lot, stay with your breath. Notice how it's this sweet combo of being active in these kind of stretches and passive, right? I feel like in the world we live in, the passive is a nice one to recognize. Let's take one more breath here, please. And come on up. All right, this is our last stretch. Stretch your legs out wide. Upavista Konasana, okay? For the longest time, and actually for today as I work with my hammies as is, I just had my hands behind me to keep my back upright. It's really normal for your spine to feel like there is no mobility to go forward. And so we end up just kind of literally clawing and rounding our back. But actually, it's the pelvis that's restricting us here. It's the hips. So stay with your hands behind you if that's the case. If you can come forward, go ahead and do that. Grab a block if you'd like to. If you find that you round quite a lot, bring your hands behind you and start to roll your tip your pelvic bowl a little forward and stay with that. I'm actually going to slightly bend that left leg. Actually, I'll bend both legs. And we work with what we have, right? There's no right or wrong in this practice. It's about awareness and accepting where we're at, being with it. 4 breaths, please. One more breath. Come on up. Bring your legs in, shake it out a little, and please come into a well-deserved rest. So if you have blankets or pillows to prop beneath your knees, that might be a nice thing. Otherwise, just come back to Shavasana. Your legs out wide, your palms up to the ceiling, arms away from your body. Where we transition into being completely passive, allowing gravity to take us as the back body has that support to drop. Does it perhaps give the front body freedom to open? A few minutes here. Start to deepen your breath here. You might want to feel your body again, roll your hips, roll your heels, your wrists. Slowly bring your attention back to your body, rolling to your side. Come on up to meet me in a comfortable seat. Bring your palms to prayer position at your heart and gently bow your head. Let's together acknowledge our moment of practice, our moment of dedication to our inner world and our awareness, and to exploring the capacity to open up to the life that is. Namaste, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you explore and enjoy all the other classes that are on offer, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.